Hello, Namaskar viewers. I am Sanjeev Pandya welcoming you to the Tax Talk with AJ right here on ITV Gold. This weekly show, Tax Talk with AJ, brings you all the information that you need to know when it comes to taxes, whether it's your personal taxes or your company's, yani ki corporate taxes. Mr. AJ Kumar gives you all the information that you really need to know, starting from the standard deduction to the filing date to the exemptions and what you can claim, what you cannot claim. Perhaps this is the one unique show gives you complete insight in the taxes, because tax season is upon us, and we all are just either in the process of filing 2022 year taxes. So for any taxes matter, for your personal or your business, small business, mid-sized business, large business, any assistance you need, please give a call, Sai CPA Services. Their phone number is 908-380-6876, or you can visit them, saicpaservices.com. They are fully trained, experienced, knowledgeable, on-hand CPAs will guide you in the right direction when it comes to your taxes, bookkeeping, payroll services. They do a lot more with multiple locations in the state of New Jersey, but they can help you out no matter where you are in USA. With that note, I'd like to welcome Mr. AJ Kumar of Sai CPA Services to this show. Sir, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Sanjeev, and thank you for the kind introduction.
You're very welcome. Keep up the good work. You've been working very hard. You have a very highly satisfied clientele.
Absolutely.
Over the years that you have accumulated. We're talking viewers that 25 plus years of experience, and they continue to help our people to do the taxes right. So with that note, I know it's a busy season for you, and obviously working 25 hours out of 24 hours a day. So let's start with some tax related questions and business structures and tax deductions. So first question I have for you is what are the business structures? What are the different types of business structures?
Absolutely, Sanjeev. But before we start the business structure, we want our viewers to know that tax season is here. You must file your business taxes. We are talking about the business structures in this episode. But if you have an existing business, you must file the taxes by March 15th for a multi-member LLC or for an S Corp. If you have a C Corp, the tax deadline will be April 18th. But if you cannot file the taxes, please at least file the extension. The extension gives you 6 months. Please understand, if you owe taxes on your C corporation, you are still expected to pay it along with the extension filing. The filing of the extension is only for filing of the taxes, not for making the tax payment. So if you owe money to IRS, you are still expected to pay it sooner. For any reason, if you cannot file taxes, please consider filing the extension.
Okay. All right, so that is a good thing. At least consider filing an extension. This is the key thing.
Absolutely.
When you file the extension, you should know one thing, that you don't have to pay interest, but you pay penalty.
No, if you file the extension, you still owe the same money. You still are paying the same interest, but you will not have to pay the penalty.
Okay.
Because you have paid the.
Correct.
You have done the right filing for it.
All right. So with the business structure and entities, one common phrase that we always hear is a flow-through entity.
Sure.
What is a flow-through entity and how they are different than a non-flow-through entity?
Absolutely. So in total, Sanjeevji, there are 5 types of business structure that this country allows. So we start with proprietorship, LLC, partnership, and then S Corp and C Corp. So 2 types of corporation and 3 types of non-corporation, where we have proprietorship, partnership, and LLC. So at a high level, if you don't have anything registered, you are doing business yourself, sort of self-employed, do not have any EIN, did not register anywhere, working for yourself, consultant or whatever you're doing, selling online, that's referred as a proprietorship. A partnership, as the name suggests, doing the same thing that the proprietor is doing, but now you have a partner with you. You have 2 or more than 2 people trying to do something, and you have an EIN, you have a federal registration, state registration. The third structure is LLC, Limited Liability Company, where you can have one member or more than 1 member. And the last 2 structure we call corporation, S, small corporation, or C, as in regular, a large corporation. So between these 5 companies, you have 2 LLC and S Corp, and these 2 structures are referred as flow-through entity.
Okay.
What it means is, For these LLC and S Corp, for these two structures, you do not pay taxes at the time of business tax filing. If you make $1 million, or God forbid, if you lose $1 million, there is no tax liability when you have the LLC or S Corp. The profit or the loss flows into your personal taxes. Take a quick example. You have a W-2, your wife has a W-2, and business made another $50,000. So when you do your personal taxes, you say, this is my W-2, this is my wife's W-2, this is my business profit of $50,000. You add it all together to pay the taxes when you file your personal taxes. So the business profit is flowing into your personal taxes. The business does not pay any taxes by itself. These two entities are referred as flow-through entities, that is S Corp and LLC. On the other hand, if you have C Corporation, the large corporation, you have to when you file the taxes, you have to pay the taxes at the time of filing the taxes. The corporation, and when we say corporation, we are referring C Corporation, large corporation, pays 21% flat federal tax rate, and state varies. It can be as low as 5%, could be as high as 10.875%. In New Jersey is 9%, New York is slightly higher. So the state tax rate varies, but the idea is, in large corporation, in C corporation, when the corporation files the taxes are paid by the corporation at the time of filing. There is no profit flowing into the business, into your personal taxes.
So that is a non-flow entity.
That's the non-flow through entity, which is C corporation, large corporation.
Okay, good. Thank you for that info. Now, there are all kinds of businesses out there, all kinds of different businesses. And let's say, entrepreneur, to be an entrepreneur in this country is perhaps most of the people's dream, because to have your own business is something interesting. So what are the factors to consider, that what kind of a business structure you want when you're starting a business?
Great question, Sanjeevji. But before I answer the question, is what kind of business structure makes most sense in a particular situation? As you rightly said, having a business is a dream. I see it every day. A lot of people want to have the business, but they have a cushy salary, they have a satisfying salary, they have a W-2 job, and they are scared of taking the risk. In that case, the suggestion is, unless you take the risk, you wouldn't know what you could have been. I mean, I started the business 20 years ago, leaving a cushy job, leaving a very, very good job, and now looking back, I wish if I had left the job sooner. So unless you try, you wouldn't know where you could be. So the only repent you will have later on, I wish I had tried, not that I did not try. You can always go back to the cushy job. But that being said, as we said, there are 5 different types of businesses. Each business structure is meant for somebody. There is a good reason why this business structure exists. It's good for someone in some situation. So you have to see what makes sense in your situation. Let's say, for example, proprietorship has absolutely no tax filing, absolutely no administration work, nothing to be paid to the accountant, nothing to be paid to the attorney. If you are just trying out something out of your garage and legal liability is not a concern for you, then proprietorship is a good idea. If you have 2 people, partners, so most of the law firms are partnerships. LLC brings the legal protection, limited liability company, and you could be having an LLC just for yourself or in partnership. Most real estate companies are considered as LLC. That's the right structure if you are having a rental property, if you want to buy an investment property. In most cases, LLC will be a good idea. We can discuss your case by case, your specific situation, but as a rule of thumb, LLC is a good idea for some sort of real estate investment, including your prior home.
All right. Okay. So it all depends upon the businesses, what kind of businesses you are, and also it also depends on your personal tax situation. Also, that
it does depend on
what
lot
kind of tax
factors.
bracket you are in.
Absolutely. So we can discuss the S Corp and C Corp as what's the ideal business type for S Corp and C Corp. Probably after the break. But I mean, every business exists for a particular reason, because this type of business is good for this type of situation. And not having the right business choice could cost you thousands of dollars in taxes. So having the right business choice is extremely important when you consider having a business,
Okay.
starting on the right foot.
Now, quickly, one question before we go into the break. Is it important to change the structure of business during the lifestyle of business?
It's not a bad idea. A lot of people start with the mentality, I don't know where I'm going, I'm not sure how successful I'm going to be. So having some sort of LLC is a great idea, and then reclassifying it, converting it into an S corp when you become successful beyond certain point, or getting to a C corporation beyond certain point is not a bad idea. You need to re-evaluate your situation, your business every year, every so often, especially at the time of filing the taxes. You need to understand how much taxes you are paying, why are you paying so much taxes, and what can be done to minimize the tax liability legally. And then you redesign your business structure to see if the current business structure that you have still makes sense for you. Can it be changed? Can you start a new business? You have to look at all these things fairly frequently.
All right, so it's a doable, basically.
Absolutely.
All right,
Absolutely.
with that note, we're going to take a short break, and when we come back after this messages, we've got a lot more coming your way when it comes to taxes, so please don't go away. Welcome back to the second half of the Tax Talk with AJ right here on ITV Gold. The show brings you complete tax related information, and we're so thankful to Sai CPA Services for making this show possible for you, for your knowledge, for your guidance, for your education purposes. And that's what Sai CPA Services they do, besides helping out clients with having their taxes filed rightfully. I'm making sure that they, whatever deductions that they can get, they should be able to get. So when it comes to right accounting firm, when it comes to right CPAs and the perfect advice, Sai CPA is the place for you. You can give them a call, 908-380-6876 or saicpaservices.com. All right, before the break, AJ, you gave us information, especially on the business entities, LLC and C Corporation and S Corporation and a partnership and whatnot. I think it would be nice if you go a little more in detail when it comes to S Corporation and C Corporation.
Absolutely, absolutely, Sanjeevji. So before the break, we talked about LLC being the right structure for the real estate investment, real estate companies. Similarly, S Corp or PC, you see, professional corporation is the preferred structure for a lot of consulting companies. If you have IT consulting companies, if you are a medical professional, if you are an accountant, for all these professionals where you are selling your time, typically PC, professional corporation, or S Corp makes the most sense. A C Corp makes most sense when you have a foreign partner, when you want to go public, or when you want to think about crowdfunding. So as I said, there are 5 types of business structure: proprietorship, partnership, LLC, S Corp, and C Corp. Each structure is meant for someone. That's why it's there. That's why it exists. You have to see what type of structure makes most sense in your situation. And you don't have to be scared about it. If you start somewhere and you are allowed to change the business structure forward looking, going forward, meaning you cannot really say, I'm doing my taxes now for 2022. Can you consider my business S Corp or C Corp for the last year? Whatever change you want, it has to be going forward. You have to make certain filings. You have to file certain forms with the IRS, with the state, and get that permission beforehand. You just cannot choose it yourself, but it's all doable.
Okay, good to know. One thing that you mentioned, and I want to connect to that point and move forward. You said C Corporation, you can have a foreign partner.
Yes.
So my question was to you that can a taxpayer have a foreign partner or investor in the business? If the answer is yes, what are the tax implications?
Absolutely. So out of the 5 business structures that we talked about, 2 types of companies, that is LLC and C Corp. These 2 types of companies are allowed to have foreign ownership, foreign members, foreign investors, foreign equity holder, however you want to say it. You could even have a subsidiary of an Indian company in US. And when we say subsidiary, we are only saying the US company is owned by an Indian company. So you're allowed to have the foreign owners depending on what type of structures you have, either LLC or C Corp. The tax treatment could be different, but in most cases when you have a foreign owner, consulting company, or trying to open an office, we prefer to go with C Corporation. As we were discussing in the first half, a C Corporation have flat tax rate of 21%. To the federal government, state tax rate varies depending on which state you decide to go to open the business. And we can have a separate conversation, Sanjeev ji, for the foreign business structures. It's a vast topic to help you understand what states makes most sense.
Okay, all right. So now, with all the entities that you mentioned, can the owners or the founders of business, can they take salary? Can they have payroll run from those
Absolutely.
companies?
All the rules applies to everybody, meaning if you have a, let's say for example, C corporation, the foreign owners are the investors. You have to have a social security number, not the ITIN number, to have a payroll in the US company. So foreign ownership can be there. These foreigners will have to be paid as a subcontractor, as a consultant. So the way the rule is applied, let's say if you are making $100 in your US company, all the work is done in India. So you can hire the Indian company as a subcontractor. You can push a lot of money from US to India as a cost of goods sold or as a service provider. Then whatever net profit you show you are making in US, in this country, on that net profit, the government will take 21% as the federal tax, and the state government will take some tax. But the Indian entity or the Indian ownership are paid as a subcontractor or a consulting expense. The payroll that we define, or a W-2 payroll, where certain payroll taxes are withheld, can only be done when that person who is on the payroll has a social security number.
All right, so payroll can be done from C corporation, can be done from S corporation.
Any company.
Can it be done from LLC?
Absolutely. All the 5 structures will allow the payroll in certain conditions, as long as you have the social security number. Say for example, partnership and LLC and the proprietorship, the first 3 companies do not have the payroll for the owners, for the members, but you can always hire somebody else for the company.
Okay. All right. So the other question comes to my mind is, I don't know, are there any retirement plans for this business
Absolutely.
structures?
Each type of business structure offers different type of retirement plan. That's why thinking it through, having a plan right on the first day is a great idea. You have to know what type of business you have, how many employees you plan to hire, when do you plan to hire these employees, how much revenue you are expecting, how much net profit you are expecting. So you can plan how much tax liability is going to be there in each type of business structure. So you have to plan it right. You have to know how much revenue you are expecting, how much sales you are expecting, how much profit is going to be there, how much tax liability that's going to be there based on each structure. Each structure have a different tax liability, different retirement plans around it. Say for example, a 401k can be offered to any employees in any of these 5 structures. So it's very important to do the planning. Each type of business offers a different type of retirement plan. So you have to know how much revenue you have, how much expenses are there, how much is the net profit, what type of income tax liability you are going to have in each type of business. Say for example, an LLC will allow you to put up to 20% of the net profit into your own SCP plan. But the SCP plan must be offered equally to all the employees as well. So if you know that you are going to have employees, then SCP may not be the best option. In that case, you want to have the 401k. If you have a plan where for the first year or 2 years, you're not going to have an employee, depending on how much profit you have, LLC may make sense. If you're going to run a payroll for yourself, then S corporation will be a great idea, because S corporation will allow you to put up to 25% of your payroll towards the SCP plan. So doing some pre-planning where you know the factors, the revenue, the profit, the tax liability, the retirement plan can help you a lot in doing most cost-effective way, most tax-efficient way for your business planning.
So a little bit on the business news, the top stories that, Target, Macy's and the Best Buy, they see consumers cut back because what they have noticed through their study is that the consumers' shopping style has changed, their priorities have changed, and they're asking for more and more discounts. And manufacturers, big retailers are big retailers are not able to give them a big discount because obviously, buckle from the strain of inflation and, cost of goods is so high, so they are unable to offer discounts. And here, consumers, when they don't see discount in the stores, they are not willing to shop.
Well, when the inflation is so high,
Yeah.
as high as we have now, almost 9%, 9+%, people get cost conscious. The money is not coming as easy. There is no EIDL loan for the small business. There is no PPP loan. Finding the money, even the lenders are getting scared. People are, the banks are not lending money as easy as they used to. The interest rates are so high. So when you are limited with your budget, limited money, that's when people start looking for the discounts.
And that's why some retailers predict that changes in consumers' habits and the way that they shop will lead to a sales decline this year. So let's see what happens. And we're only into the third month of the year 2023. But anyway, with that note, we are inching towards the end of the show. And I just want to remind viewers one more time, Sai CPA Services, a full-fledged accounting firm located in state of New Jersey with their multiple locations, can assist you, guide you, advise you, and help you to file your taxes right. They'll make sure that if you're getting a refund, you're getting a refund. If you have to pay, why do you have to pay? Because they will stay with you and they will advise you, they will let you know what it is. The most informative tax firm when it comes to your taxes, or even for accounting, payroll services. You can give them a call at 908-380-6876 or visit saicpaservices.com. With that note, I'd like to thank Mr. AJ for his time to be in the show today. I am Sanjeev Pandya. Until we meet again, same place, same time, I wish you all happy and the tax-free days ahead. So long.